How's it going, fellers? Got some more clips. It's been a few days. Getting back into it.
Oh, I found a glitched person.
What?
Just wait. They look like they're running, right? They're not.
Who is that? Is that an NPC?
They're staying in place. They've been there for like 2 minutes.
No way. They're still there. They're going nowhere fast. Shh.
What?
Who was that lady? She wasn't going anywhere. She was in the same spot moving. It looks like she was on an invisible treadmill. Shh. Shut up! I'm telling you guys, stop paying attention to people and their movements. Because everybody ain't real. Alright? Doesn't mean because you real and you keeping it real that there's real people out there. Stop playing with me, son. This video's for the same purpose only. I don't think that video is real at all. I think somebody's playing around these apps. Shh. Shut up! Listen. You've seen this before. This is a glitch. I wouldn't call it a glitch. I call it an NPC rebooting. Broad daylight. Stop playing with me, son. It's not a game I ain't got you. See what's going on out here. Shh. Shut up. But I tell you one thing. If I'm ever chilling with somebody or I'm driving somewhere and I see somebody doing that, trust me, I can make them move.
See, well, I mean, if those videos were real, which I mean, it looks real. You know what I mean? I believe the Bible, right? I believe in God, but the whole simulation theory, like, you know what I mean? Like, like I'm sure they can go together. Like, I mean, I always think that, if we're in some kind of simulation, it's from God, right? I just weird seeing that kind of stuff.
There's no one talking about this. We argue about the flight logs, the names, the sealed files. But nobody asks the real question. Why was there a temple on Epstein Island? And it wasn't some quirky building or luxury decor. It looked like a place designed for ritual, a place meant for something specific. Out of every ancient figure it resembles, the name most associated with that imagery is Moloch, a deity linked for thousands of years to sacrifice, power, and secrecy. So ask yourself, out of every symbol in existence, why build that? People get lost in celebrity headlines. People get distracted by politics. Meanwhile, private jets were landing there, not for the beach, not for the view, but for that building. Because whatever that structure was, it didn't look like a getaway. It looked like a shrine. And here's what most people don't realize. The iconography connected to Moloch, the bull symbolism, the ritual alignment, it echoes the same ancient patterns tied to the red heifer rites. Older than Epstein, older than the island, older than every name on that flight list. So when the next files drop, and everyone pretends to be shocked, remember this. The truth wasn't hidden. It was sitting in plain sight. The island wasn't just a crime scene. It was a message. And everyone who walked inside that temple knew exactly what they were honoring.
Yeah, I mean, they worship that Moloch, or Baal, or they worship those things. I mean, I think the island was like, I think they do the stuff underground. I think there's a lot of evidence for that.
I made a comment, said the Mississippi is really the Nile, and I already knew that, but they're right. Isaiah 11:15, and the Lord shall utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea, the Gulf, and with his mighty wind shall he shake his hand over the river, and shall smite in the 7 streams, and make men to go over dry shod. All right, now that's the Mississippi. It actually goes all the way up into Canada. The Nile has 3 streams and 3 tributaries, okay? And it's a lot shorter than what the Mississippi really is, all right? They broke the Mississippi down into like 2 sections, but it actually goes, the Nile, because everything is reverse, okay? They switch everything. So there's a lot of people that are hating on me because I'm telling the truth. It's okay. I'm going to keep telling it no matter what they think. Right now they've got blinders on. And later when they find out the truth, they're going to regret it. You know where it says they'll be cast into outer darkness where there'll be weeping and gnashing of teeth? That is an eternal state of regret. You know, gritting the teeth, all right? You know how I learned that? Looking from the inside of a prison cell out the window. And I went, man, I wish I hadn't done that. You know, I was addicted to drugs. And it got me in a lot of trouble, all right? But you won't know until you get there. Because right now, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine unto them. All right? Yeah. Remember the guy that Jesus, the blind guy that Jesus had to touch him twice? Okay? He said, I see men as if they're trees. And Jesus touched him a second time and he was healed. There's some people that need Jesus to touch them a second time so they can see clearly. No coincidence that this pyramid, the Bass Pro Shop, is right on the Nile River in Memphis, all right? You know what Memphis means? Truth in plain sight. You know the term, if it was a snake, it would have bit me, all right? That's how Satan operates. Memphis, origin Egyptian. Other origins, American Greek. Meaning enduring and beautiful, Memphis is a gender-neutral name with Egyptian, Greek, and American origins. Man, I
really wish he didn't have music in that video. That drives me nuts. But he said a couple things that I was thinking about. What was it? The you know, how he was getting comments or whatever. You know, saying how he's wrong about, you know, all this and that. People really do get mad, you know, like if you don't agree with them. You know, I've gotten some comments that were kind of harsh. But you know, it happens. There's something else he said. Hold on. What was it? Hold on, time out.
touch him twice, okay?
No, that wasn't it. Hold on.
I was addicted to drugs. And it got me in a lot of trouble, all right? But you won't know until you get there. This pyramid.
Oh, the pyramid.
Bass Pro Shop.
Sorry. The pyramid. I remember seeing a comment there was this I think it was a TikTok talking about how people say it was trying to explain how the pyramids were built, right? And people were, you know, like calling conspiracy theorists or whatever, you know, all kinds of crap, right? Crazy and whatnot. And they were saying, you know how, you know, at least I say, you know, how we say, you know, they can't build them now like they did back then, right? Because they can't. And somebody in the comments was saying, yeah, but they have these pyramids, you know, over here at like the bass fishing pyramid or, you know, whatever. And it's not the same. It's not, you know, 40-ton blocks or whatever. And plus, like the ones that are on the very bottom underground are like 200 tons. So, you know, it's not the same as like a pyramid with a bunch of glass. So I don't know. Just whatever.
Here we are at the Transcending Satanic Monument in front of the Scientology building in Detroit. Here's an aerial view of it. You can see the sacred geometry, which is meant to work as a sort of sigil to condense energy. And this is a portal.
Bro, look, I mean, to the extent of what it's even saying.
Okay.
Like even just the names. Entry stones, but look right here. We can bring to birth a new world.
And right here, the transporters.
Yeah.
It looks like there's souls trapped inside these rocks. Oh, my feet are burning just standing in this circle right here. You guys, this is no joke. I'm not even kidding right now. This place is dark. Are your feet burning?
Yeah, but it's like 91 degrees out.
This is a representation of hell, and the souls that are being trapped by this demonic culture that we're living in, you know? Like the culture that we live in hides this symbology, hides these demonic rituals and practices and symbols all around our states and countries, and this is just dark.
I'm gonna stand in the middle with my shoes off.
I don't know if I'd do it.
Whoa. I was wondering if
Oh,
I could
what's the
actually-
conclusion? Is it satanic? Actually, I think it's actually kind of nice.
Yeah.
And I like the nice things
Look
that
at
it
the
says.
hands right there, as you said that, like, it's just
Oh,
a
yeah.
little weird.
Oh wait, you are right. It looks like a baby right there. I changed my
There's
mind. I
no
go
way
back.
they
It is.
worked on
It is actually dark. Look at the
That's what I'm looking
chains.
for.
Why are you putting babies in chains?
What is this? We want more schoolhouses and less jails. Oh, fuck, then it's back to beautiful. Damn it. Are you evil or not? So why are you putting babies in chains? And just answers it.
Solidarity across borders. Yeah, but what borders? See, they could be talking about dimensional borders.
Ooh, true. Yep. Honestly, that's legit.
Yeah, that one's legit. Oh, what's this one say? Oh, human rights. Okay, I guess that one makes sense now in context. Health and safety protection. These are like affirmations within a circle. Still witchcraft, even if it's good witchcraft.
I just don't believe it's
Yeah,
There's
they're-
no good
ancient. It's just
witchcraft.
like some union carpenter dude. It's like, I learned witchcraft. He's like, I'm into this right now. Health insurance, that's his spouse. Job security. This is crazy.
Look at this weird pagan symbol that's just in front of this building right here. Just before we end this. Look at this guy. It's like a guy holding a family in his hands with a celestial object in his other hand.
And then we're in a triangle with the Scientology building.
Yeah,
If you really think about
yeah.
it. Like, that's the real dark magic over there. All the windows are blacked out. That's nuts. Doof.
Yeah, that's Scientology. You think those really are portals? You think maybe one day something will come through, or maybe like something comes through and we just don't see it? Like the portal in Kazakhstan, or what is it, Astana or something like that, Kazakhstan. I don't know, something to think about.
This is just too funny. This lady's here. And then there she is. and this man is here. Where is he? He's here. And then he's here as well. Though my favourite one is this lady who is in front of Tao, who is behind Tao, but just doing the same face. They're quite literally doing the same face. I just don't understand. Why didn't they change their costumes? At least take off the accessories, man. Like, what?
Yeah, I thought I seen Andrew Tate in there. You think this is just like an AI?
Off the accessories.
Hold on. You think this is just like a? See, hold on. That's probably not him, but it kind of looked like him. You think it's just like, so you know, what is it? Will Smith or somebody had a concert with an AI crowd, right? Like the crowd was fake. I'm sure they do that with a lot of things, right? I kind of like to go through some of them press briefings or stuff like that, or speeches that people give to see like if the audience, just like older clips of it.
Since you mentioned it, in Christianity, does God have a son? Yes, thank you. Is God's son named Jesus? No, thank you. Is God's son named Yahuwah? No, thank you. Is God's name Yahuwah? Yes, thank you. Is God's son's name Yeshua? Yes, thank you. Is Yeshua the key to salvation or the way into heaven for Christians? Yes, thank you. Is Yeshua the way into heaven or the key to salvation for non-Christians? No, thank you. Will non-Christians be punished for being non-Christians? No. Thank you.
Why do people believe this? I mean, if they're communicating with spirits, right? Spirits or demons, like they're gonna lie to you. You know, even if they weren't demons, right? If they're just ghosts, like wouldn't a ghost just want to mess with somebody? If like ghosts were hanging around people all the time, don't you think that's what they do? Just mess with people? I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's bad.
That white boy went to jail for talking to dolphins. I wouldn't have believed it if they didn't take him to jail and then kill almost 40 damn dolphins. How the fuck would y'all know he actually talked to dolphins to arrest him for talking to dolphins if you didn't see the shit? You know he talked to them bitches and that's why he's locked up. So I started to deep dive because I got a fucking brain and I use it. So I ask, why is it illegal to communicate with dolphins? Many people believe dolphins aren't just animals, but highly evolved spiritual gatekeepers or extraterrestrial consciousness living in our oceans. They suggest that dolphins and whales are actually starseeds from the Sirius B star. That's one thing about them Africans. They know about them stars and don't nobody got a damn telescope. That's what be fucking me up. They don't even got shoes on. They know how far a fucking star is and the name of it. Here go another reason why we can't talk to them, y'all. There's a widespread belief in the New Age community that dolphin echolocation has a physical and spiritual effect on human DNA. Some esoteric historians, esoteric means only like a specific group of people know this knowledge. Esoteric historians believe dolphins are the descendants or spiritual successors of a lost civilization of Lemuria. Lemurians were supposedly highly telepathic and lived in total harmony with nature. Fuck these guys. As their continent sank, they transferred their consciousness into the kingdom of the dolphins and whales to preserve their wisdom until humanity was evolved enough to communicate again. Evolved enough? How the fuck we supposed to evolve when they got us on ChatGPT? We're not gonna evolve because guess what, dolphins? They doing shit to our mind. They got us drinking fluoride every fucking day, calcifying our pineal gland. They fucking us up, so we can't click with y'all. We can't click and do all the clicking and do all that cool shit and all that. We'll go to jail, we talk to y'all. Then I ask, why do they use dolphins to help women give birth to a baby? Sonic scanning. The most common belief is that dolphins use their echolocation or their sonar to scan the mother and the unborn baby. Believers say dolphins are naturally attracted to high frequency vibrations of the fetal heartbeat. If a pregnant lady get in the ocean and dolphins start swarming her ass, that's them dolphins baby now. They the daddy now. They claim the dolphin sonar can detect complications or even help retune the baby's nervous system during the stress of labor. Motherfuckers. And before I close out, I just want y'all to know that dolphins are essentially the aliens of the ocean. Their intelligence is so sophisticated and different from ours, many scientists argue that they should legally be classified as non-human persons. Long live Gerald, man. Free that white man. Them motherfuckers stole him and they did make him build fucking condos.
All right. I don't know. I think a lot of that's crap. Some of it might be true. I don't know. Maybe dolphins can talk. What do you think? Tell me in the comments.
Told you the Titanic actually didn't sink. Okay, it never did. Now, the event of the Titanic sinking, I do believe was a real event that happened, but I think that was the Olympic that sank, okay? And we're about to get into the crazy conspiracy theory about why that is and the real reason why the Titanic sank in the first place, okay? And it was to take over the United States financial banking system, all right? Because that shipwreck happened in 1912. You know what happened the next year in 1913? Income tax was introduced. Do you know how much money you would have if you didn't have your income tax taken out? The biggest moneymaker of the whole United States, financial banking system is our own citizens' income tax, okay? If I remember right, that's what we went to war over when we did the American Revolution, all right? There was 3 people on that ship that were really important men that were opposed to income tax being taken out. Now, something else important happened in 1913. It was the creation of the Federal Reserve. Those same 3 men that were opposed to the income tax also opposed that. And that Federal Reserve is owned by the Rothschild family, the most powerful family in the world. That's right, our own Federal Reserve is not owned by the federal government. It is owned by private individuals' families. Okay, that alone should tell you that this conspiracy has a lot of basis to it. Because what better way to cover up a huge assassination, a huge political assassination, and make it look like a tragic accident than having a boat sink and thousands of other people be victims as well? Because if you just took out those 3 political candidates, then you would obviously know that something was up to no good, if there's foul play involved. But when it looks like a tragedy, it's easy to cover it up. Next is you can't examine the bodies to see if did they drown, did they freeze to death, or did they take a bullet? No one's going to know because their bodies went to the bottom of the ocean. We still don't know, okay? Now, the reason why I say it might have been the Olympic that sank instead of the Titanic was White Star owned the 3 biggest ships, and the Olympic and the Titanic were the 2 biggest ones. Well, the Olympic was needing to be decommissioned, and the year before the Titanic sank, they actually got denied by their insurance company to decommission the ship, which means they would have been out millions and millions of dollars if they wanted to decommission the ship. So if you look at the Olympic and the Titanic, it is uncanny how similar they are. And a lot of people said that during that year, they just kind of remodeled it. So all that work on the Titanic was actually just remodeling the Olympic. And a lot of people said, well, wouldn't people notice? No, they had like tens of thousands of contractors in and out. So if you tell these contractors that are coming in, oh yeah, the old contractors did this part, they wouldn't know that they weren't working on an entirely new ship because it was remodeled so heavily, they didn't know any better, okay? Actually, not very many people at all would have known that this was going down, especially when you paint the ship, you replace some windows to make them a different shape. But if you look at the overall body and compare them side by side, you can't tell the difference. So what do you think happened? Do you think that the Titanic sank and it was just a coincidence that those 3 political leaders were on it and the very next year the thing they opposed became a reality and now it's our biggest crippler for financial debt? Or do you think that that was just what they had in the cards? That was their master plan? And do you think the Olympic thing is also just a coincidence? Who knows, right? This one kind of goes all over the place, but I don't believe in that many coincidences.
Definitely not. I think with the all countries that have a central banking system, like like the Federal Reserve, I think we should just rip them off. Like I know it gets a lot more complicated, and financials and blah blah blah. I think we should just rip them off. Just if anything, just citizens, just take control of it. I don't know. I'm sure there's an easy way. Anything, even when things are complicated, I feel like there's an easy way to do something. Lazy way. What is it? I heard. I think it was Bill Gates that said it. Even though screw that guy. He said like he would hire a lazy guy for a difficult task or something like that, because a lazy guy will find an easy way or the easiest way to get it done, or something like that.
This is where things start to take a turn because some of Trump's own supporters are starting to push conspiracy theories about him. After the shooting in Butler, Pennsylvania, which the FBI determined to be an assassination attempt, fringe voices on the right are now claiming that it was staged. Not the left, not critics, people inside the movement. For example, Tim Dillon recently told his audience he thinks the attack might have been staged. Way to use your brain, Tim. Others have gone even further, blaming the FBI or suggesting there's a massive cover-up. And here's what makes this bigger than just a few takes online. This is the same kind of thinking that's been building for years. Distrust the media, distrust institutions, but now the mindset isn't just being aimed outward, it's turning inward. Now to be clear, there's no credible evidence that this was staged, but we all saw what we saw. If only his bone spurs healed like his ears, but people were actually hurt during this stunt.
I apologize, but that picture just made me think of something. That Evander Holyfield, right? He, which that's they say that's a Mandela effect, I guess, now that he doesn't have as big of a chunk out of his ear. But did you know that Henry Winkler is alive? I know I seen stuff about him dying like a few years ago or something like that. Does anybody else remember that?
Guy Corey Comparator, who was trying to cover his family, dead. He paid for this stunt with his life. That was real, but the reaction shows something deeper. Because when the movements build on consistent suspicion, eventually nothing feels untouchable, not even their own supreme leader. So the real question is, what happens when the distrust and the lying doesn't stop and there's no one left to believe? Share your thoughts in the comments section, follow me here, and subscribe to my channel on YouTube.
Yeah, 100% psyop. I don't believe it was real for a second. I haven't believed it was real ever since then. Just like with old C. Kirk, I don't believe that was real either.
People believe that they were creating a higher power portal that required radiation protection. They're dressed up in a jacket that is waterproof. When I think of waterproof, I think of like going through like the Stargate and it has like the rippling water effect, right? So I'm thinking maybe they were going to go through a portal where they might get wet. They didn't want the suits to get wet. Maybe they were going to land in water, a pond, an ocean. Maybe they knew that by going through this portal into the future, maybe that the future would be a wet area where they were in Rio de Janeiro. The polar flooding could cause enough flooding to make them land in a flooded area. So they wanted to protect their suits and protect themselves. They had lead-eyed masks that they handmade. You use lead masks because you want to protect your eyes and protect anything else, especially your head, from any damage that would be caused by going through radiation. Why would they be going through radiation? Because they would be going through a portal. So many people believe that they were creating a higher power portal that required radiation protection.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. Don't think so. Maybe though. What do you think? Tell me in the comments. Yep, that's the last clip I got. I appreciate you watching. God bless you and your families, and have an awesome day. Thanks. Bye.